Assalamalaikum and a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this finds you in good health. Today we are going to be discussing a sample table report. So without further ado, I'm going to be doing the screen share. And basically you have this table over here that has 4 columns. One column corresponds to the site, and they have given us different sites, right? We got Great Barrier Reef, Central Eastern Rainforest Reserve. You got Blue Mountains, you got Tasmania Wilderness, you got Shark Bay as well as Macquarie Island, right? And along with that, we have 3 columns corresponding to different time periods, one for 1996, 1998, and the third one for 2000, right? Now, what do these numbers show? These numbers show how many people are visiting a certain site in a particular year. So for example, we see that 5,65,000 visitors frequented Blue Mountains in 1998. There were 330 people paying a visit to Macquarie Island in 2000. The Central Eastern Rainforest Reserve had 810,000 tourists or visitors in 1996, right? And that's what you understand when you read the question statement over here. The table above gives information on visitor statistics for 1996, 1998, and 2000 for various World Heritage Sites in Australia. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant, right? So first of all, let's see if we can paraphrase this background question statement, because in a report, the first paragraph comprises of firstly the introduction, which is just paraphrasing this background question statement that I've done successfully over here. The table compares the number of visits to 5 different World Heritage Sites in Australia in 3 years. That's 1996, 1998, and 2000, right? Then you talk about the overview in the first paragraph, the second component, right? Overview, like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, that is sort of a summary. You're sort of talking about the main picture that you're extracting out of this table, okay? Now, what we see in this case is that if we look at Central Eastern Rainforest Reserve, the figures as we move forward in time from 1996 to 1998 all the way to 2000, with the passage of time, we see the number of tourists is going down from 8 like 10,000 to sound like 90, all the way to sound like 70,000 in the year 2000. And we also see a sort of a similar statistic for Macquarie Island, that is from 350 to 310 to 330. There's a bit of an oscillation, but if you look at the final figure in 2000, that is 330, which is marginally less than the initial figure in 1996, that was 350. So we see these two sites having, reporting a decline in the number of visitors with the passage of time. Whereas we see in all the rest of the cases, Blue Mountains, Tasmania Wilderness, Shark Bay, as well as Great Barrier Reef, the numbers are going up. For example, Shark Bay goes from 84,000 in 1996 to 102,000 in 1998 to 89,000 in the year 2000, right? So the rest of the sites are showing an upward increase in their tourism numbers. So, and you can also talk about which facility has the most number of visitors. So I clearly see, if I look at, let's say, the year 2000, right, I clearly say that Great Barrier Reef is the most popular tourist facility. Why? Because it has the greatest number of visitors, It's significantly more than the second most popular site. So you get a fair understanding from that, And we see that the least popular site was Macquarie Island, because it doesn't even have like 1,000 people, like just 330. So that's not a big number, So this is how you talk, what you mentioned in the overview, which sites are showing an increase in their tourists, which one they're seeing an increase in the guests visiting them, and which is the most popular site, which is the least popular site. This is basically how you can talk about how you can go about approaching an overview for a table report in IELTS Academics. So this is what we see over here. And like I said, fellas, it is always good to start your overview with the word overall, because that gives a clear signal that you're talking about the overview. So we say that overall, the visitor numbers to the Central Eastern Rainforest Reserve and Macquarie Island, they experienced a slight fall, while an upward trend was seen in the figures for the other sites during the given period. It is readily apparent that Great Barrier Reef was the top tourist attraction, whose popularity increased dramatically or massively, in contrast to the smallest yet declining number recorded for Macquarie Island, as we've already talked about it, right? And then comes the second paragraph, that is a body paragraph, in which we go in details. But look, when you give details, fellas, when you dish out descriptive information, don't make it monotonous, okay? Don't make it boring, right? Like Shark Bay had 84,000 visitors in 1996. It had 102,000 in 1998, 2,008, 9,000. You mathematicians note the percentage increase or percentage increase, and then say, there was approximately this much. I mean, you're not gonna have a calculator, right? So, but you can sort of say there was an approximately this much percentage increase or decrease, or in this year the number of visitors were double the number of visitors in the previous year or whatever. For example, I can say as opposed to 996, the number of visitors for Great Barrier Reef almost doubled in the year 2000. So almost approximately you can use these vocabularies and, sort of like give a compelling insight. These are your numbers. This is you're sort of a data analyst. You're telling a story. You got to make it look creative. You got to make it look, you got to make it sound original. It should not be very generic or something that has been, it's not like you've been fed a script or something that you're just parroting out to the masses, right? So just try to make it as informative as well as attractive as possible, as appealing as possible. So this is what I said right over here, right? That 70,000 visitors were made to the Great Barrier Reef in 1996. This figure then doubled to reach 31,000 visitors in 2000, undergoing a similar upward trend but at lower rates. The number of travelers to Blue Mountains and Tasmania wilderness experienced a gradual rise from 506,000 to 581,000 and so forth, right? So this is basically, I'm just going to read this in detail and then go about this at a stretch, okay? Because it's sort of tedious for me to repeat the same numbers over and over again. So question, the table above gives the information on visitor statistics for 1996, 1998, and 2000 for various World Heritage Sites in Australia. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Yeah. So let's begin. First paragraph. The table compares the number of visits to 5 different World Heritage Sites in Australia in 3 years, 1996, 1998, and 2000. Overall, the visitor numbers to Central Eastern Rainforest Reserve and Macquarie Island experienced a slight fall, while an upward trend was seen in the figures for the other sites during the given period. It is readily apparent that Great Barrier Reef was a top tourist attraction whose popularity increased dramatically in contrast to the smaller yet declining number recorded for Macquarie Island. Second paragraph. 16,70,000 visits were made to the Great Barrier Reef in 1996. This figure then doubled to reach 200,000 visitors in 2000. Undergoing a similar upward trend, but at lower rates, the number of travelers to Blue Mountains and Tasmania wilderness experienced a gradual rise from 506,000 to 581,000 and from 450,000 to 483,000 in order. Shark Bay attracted 84,000 visitors in 1996, whose figure increased significantly or massively to 102,000 tourists, followed by a drop of 13,000 in 2000. By contrast, Central Eastern Rainforest Reserve welcomed 20,000 visits fewer every 2 years, from 810,000 to 770,000 between 1996 and 2000. This site was still one of the top 2 attractions, while Macquarie Island remained the least preferred World Heritage Site in Australia, with an average of 330 visits every year. The word limit is 200 words, so I think it should be enough when it comes to getting the job done. Okay, so I hope after the session you find tackling a table report to be a bit more manageable now. Obviously, feel free to reach out to me in the comment section if you have any queries, fellas. We'll be back soon with more quality content, God willing. Thank you very much and have a lovely evening. Assalamualaikum.